Welcome to Act 2 You're On. Join us weekly at our studio roundtable as Rhonda, Kate, and Linda invite spectacular guests to weigh in on staying sexy, vibrant, and healthy. Launch your next great act with authenticity and purpose.
Summon your courage, superstar, and step into the limelight. So grab a coffee
or a martini,
and let's set the stage for a grand entrance. It's Act 2.
You're on.
Greetings, friends, and welcome to Act 2, You're On. So I'm Linda Ty, and I have the pleasure of podcasting with my dynamic duo, A2I duo, co-hosts, Kate Levy.
Hi there, I'm Rhonda Garvin-Conaway, and we are joined by our very talented producers, Susan Nonstop Nagel and Kathy Can Do Carswell, who make magic for us.
And today in the A2YO studio, we have a leader and true change maker. So Becca started working out at age 7 and started her career at age 19. Becca has decoded her own health crises and over a span of nearly 40 years has been a transformational journey developing an unstoppable mindset and overcoming congenital diseases, pulmonary, digestive, and skeletal. So she'll tell us a little bit about that. Becca is a proud, divorced, and single mom of 3 young women and is devoting her life to empowering women to claim their inner strength as a cornerstone to a happy journey. In 2012, Becca started training clients in her 17-minute workout routine. In 2017, she created her powHerbands. It's a total body resistance bands transformations, providing highly effective, efficient, and functional workouts. She provides memberships for women online using a proprietary software system, allowing each person to create their own workout from her library of 250 exercises. I think that is so cool. In 2020, she started an 8-week reset, bestowing a goal-centered time frame along with action steps, daily workouts via Zoom, and a plant-based diet ebooks. Becca also hosts a women's retreat annually called Detox to Destiny. This 3 to 4 day health, fitness, and self-love retreat is for women only. Sorry, guys. Along with nourishing workshops, Becca provides doctor-approved juicing and herbs to help the body eliminate and cleanse from the inside out. So Becca is seeking to collaborate with women's groups and female thought leaders who are eager to create even greater awareness around personal growth and business mastery. What a perfect guest for A2YO. So welcome, Becca.
What a great intro. So thank you very much. I'm really blessed to be on your show, and so I'm really honored to be here. Thank you.
So Becca, tell us a little bit about that journey. I know you've overcome a lot in your life, and we'd love to know a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, I think, you know what, when we really look at our experiences, we either sink or we swim. And I don't know that I ever had a choice to sink. There was always something else backing up. Something else was coming next. So I had to just keep swimming. So I was born with congenital challenges. Some call them diseases. I just like to call them a challenge. And at 19 years of age, when I went to the University of Florida, I was on the field team throwing javelin. And it was then that I realized that I was so not healthy. I was on so many meds, and I just thought that was my normal life. It wasn't until the coaching and them starting to talk to me about food and nutrition that I thought, whoa, wait a minute. Like, I don't need to be on these meds. Well, I needed to be on those meds so I wouldn't have pain, so I would have digestion, so I could breathe, right? I didn't need my meds at that point. But what I started to look at, and I didn't really call them that back then, was triggers. And I started to kind of understand what was making me sick. And it truly took 20 years for me to be completely off all of my meds. But the first thing was I was constipated for 19 years. I barely went to the bathroom. And I now call myself a poopologist. Now, I'm not a gastro by anybody. Anybody knows anything about that system who's a layman, it would be me. So, I mean, I know all about it. And I've helped so many people declog themselves and their pain in their body, just as an example of taking the toxins and cleaning out their gut system and their digestive system. So that's kind of like a little byline, because I had to do it myself. And so I also, with my asthmatic bronchitis, I was on, and you can even hear, like, I've got a little raspiness in my voice, a little deepness in my voice. It's just, I have some damage done to my left lung from all those years on meds and all those sicknesses that I had. So I missed 20% of my elementary school year, as I always felt like I was not as smart. I had reading problems. I have learning problems. I have dyslexia. I had pimples. I was tall and dorky. You know, I felt so out of place in my body and in my mind growing up. So it really wasn't even until I got divorced that I started actually putting the pieces together. Now, ironically, I own 2 ad agencies in between this and getting out of college, but I never really felt accomplished. I never really felt like I was fitting in. I just used business prowess, and in my other sense, I used sports prowess. And so when it came to my divorce, my second divorce, and I had 3 girls, I came to a place where I was really defeated. This was the first time I was really defeated. My dad died. I got an email from my husband, and I got hit by a car riding a bike at 21 miles an hour, all within 90 days. I couldn't even move my arms at that point. 10 days after that all those incidences, and then getting hit by the car, I went to God and I said, I need to come home. And I had a whole plan that wasn't his plan. And he wanted me to be a health and fitness coach. I didn't know that, right? That was not what I always thought. I was this advertising maven. Well, lo and behold, clearing, cleansing, renewing, and scrubbing, lots of scrubbing bubbles. I came out a stronger, healthier human individual spirit, guiding now women on their journey. And so it's all a blessing. If we kind of just stop, and sometimes we're forced to stop, but if we just stop and listen and understand who we are and why we're here, the rest of it is kind of fun and easy. I don't know if it's easy, but it's definitely fun. And the adventure continues.
Well, I do think that the greatest therapists are people who have struggled, and the greatest coaches are people who have, clunked into terrible life experiences and somehow found, the good lessons, and they want to pass that on. And I think that's very interesting. The trend, which it sounds like you kind of were at the head of, is so much more than just a fitness program. It's about, fitness on the exterior, but also it has to be on the interior.
Yeah, mental strength is the core of any good program. And I found that, training people for 4 decades, I found I could get some improvement with them. And I definitely, saw changes and transformations in their bodies. But the long-term happy and person who's really dedicated to owning their health, their well-being, and creating a stronger temple is the one who takes the mental divinity and connects it with their journey. My first thing that I do every single morning is have a meeting with Gia, as an example. Gia is, I open my eyes and I close my eyes. I go into gratitude, intention, and affirmations, and I back it up with the second A, which is the most important part. It's the action. I love when people say, I'm setting the intention. Yeah. I got to tell you something. I've set a lot of intentions, but if I didn't have a plan behind them, nothing got done. Right. So you got to have a strategy. You have to have tools, tactics behind it. You have to break it down into doable things the same way for your body. We do it for our businesses. We do it when we're throwing a party. Hey, who hasn't thrown a party out there? Everybody's throwing a party. You lay down the date, right? So you know a date. You reverse engineer who you're going to invite, the theme, the things you're going to throw out for, the type of foods, the decorations, when you're going to invite everybody, the kind of cocktails you're going to have, everything, right? But do we spend that much time reverse engineering who we are and how we're going to show up for ourselves? Self-leadership. Self-leadership it's the key to all.
Hearing that gets me excited, and I feel always like motivation has this connection with working out. And you referenced in your introduction how you have a 17-minute workout. For somebody like myself, whose default is I have to do it every day for 2 hours, 7 days a week, I'm all or nothing. And for all those listeners like me who are hearing this conversation, tell us about your program and how do we move away from that default way of thinking and embrace what you have to offer?
Rhonda, I actually wrote a book, why we keep failing ourselves. There's 13 underlying reasons, because I failed myself too. Listen, who hasn't failed themselves? But if we don't learn from it, so are they really failures if you learn from it, right? Mm-hmm. Is it a failure or is it a stepping stone? So there's 13 underlying reasons. I'm not going to go into all that. That's a whole nother podcast, but the all or nothing is one major reason. They open up a bag of chips, or they go to a they're like, all right, I messed up. So then they go home and they they deplore themselves in the mirror, and they go to sleep unhappy. Are you going to sleep unhappy? This is what I want to ask. When you look in the mirror, are you happy with who you are and how you're showing up for yourself? Because that can be changed, and it can be changed in 17 minutes. So the 17-minute program was created actually because I had a client, a male, who was an accountant, and I would train him for an hour. That was, standard 55 minutes. And then every accounting season, he would call and say, I don't have time. So I said, okay, listen, do it for 30 minutes. Well, lo and behold, he calls, he goes, Becca, I don't have 30 minutes. I said, Jay, we're going to do it. I'll be there for 20 minutes. He goes, you're going to give me a workout. I said, I'm going to give you the same quality. You're going to have the same results as you had in 60 minutes in 20 minutes, which means that there's less jabber, right? We're really staying focused. We're working hard for those. These are 40-second exercises. I know anybody can do anything for 40 seconds. So they're 40 seconds on, 20-second break where you're changing bands, changing body positions, taking your water, getting your breath, and getting ready for your next 40 seconds. It's totally doable. I've worked with people who were on chronic pain medication, who are off of pain medication. They could barely get on or off a floor. They're climbing mountains now. Is it because of me? No, it's because 17 minutes is doable and you stick to it. It is that consistency. You said something about going to the gym every day. I know in 5 days, which is only 85 minutes out of your entire world of that week, if you can give me 85 minutes, I can give you a transformation. I have people losing 1 to 3 dress sizes in 8 weeks. And it's not about weight, because they don't necessarily lose a lot of weight. They're losing inches because we're converting the fat to muscle. I get people off of scales. I do not like scales. If you ask me how much I weigh, I could tell you approximately, just because I've always weighed approximately this, except for the one time, that freshman 15. So I had to quit the track team because my parents said they didn't have money to put me through school. So I had to quit the track team and get some jobs. So I started getting these jobs. I didn't have all that much time to do everything that I wanted to do. I changed my whole career path. Everything changed. But the number one thing was I changed my habits. And in 3 months, not a year, in 3 months, I gained 25 pounds. Mm-hmm. Up at University of Florida, those little dolphin shorts that we wore back in the 80s, they're little, well, they just stretch with you. I had no idea absolutely no idea I gained 25 pounds. But when I went to put on the jeans, because it was getting colder, I couldn't get the jeans over my knees. I went to get some jeans. The next size didn't fit. The next size didn't fit. And that's when I said to myself, and this is like a cornerstone of my program, I'm not buying something that I'm not going to need. So I just wore sweatpants. And I said to myself, if I could gain it in 3 months, how long should it take me to lose it? 3 months, right? If I gained it in 3 months, I can lose it in 3 months. So I looked at, I didn't call them habits, but I looked at what I was doing that I hadn't been doing. So having pepperoni pizza at 1 o'clock with some beers, going for Skeeter biscuits with gravy at 3:30, and half of M&Ms while I'm studying was not something that I was doing while I was on the field team throwing javelin. So I kind of just went back about 80% back, and bam, it took less than 3 months for the weight to come off. But I believe in discipline, and I believe in teaching disciplinary actions that support reward and your goals, right? When you have a goal, you're not in deprivation. I don't believe in dieting, but I do believe in proper portion and helping people understand how they can have their carbs and eat them too. This no carb, low carb diet stuff. I eat burritos 4 or 5 times a week. Okay. And I do have a fast metabolism. I've trained it to be fast. I train other people to be fast, but I have a very clean digestive system. I have a clean mindset. I sleep well. I drink a whole lot of water, and I know how to upgrade my fiber and good protein. Just to let your people know, I'm a plant-based flexitarian. What the heck is that? So I'm not vegan because I like eggs. So I eat eggs. Every now and a blue moon, I'll have tuna because I love my tuna. It's probably one of the worst things you could eat, canned tuna, right? But I love it.
I do too. Me too. Yeah.
Do I love my daughter's chocolate brownies? I do, but I don't eat them all the time. I do eat at home. I do prepare my own food. I know what's in it. I'm more, and I'm going to give you guys a couple little tidbits. When you're looking to eat healthy, you definitely need quality food. I spend a little bit more, but I don't spend a lot. I eat a lot of vegetables. I do eat organics. I love my raw. When I was trying to go to a healthier diet plan, one day a week, just one day a week, I ate super clean, just one day. So I want you guys to just pick one day. I do hump day. One day a week, I did super clean. And then I changed that one day a week to juicing. That one day a week, I just juiced. So I upgraded it, right? I did just juicing. And then I created that celebrity detox, which is 3 days of juicing, 11-day program, a sandwich with juicing in the middle with 4 clean days. And I show you how to go from where you are to going super clean in 4 days. So it's not like angst. And then you get to juice and then you go reverse back out. What people have told me and I've seen is by the time they get to the 4th day and they can start to go back into eating what they were eating, they don't have the taste buds for it anymore. You lose your sugar cravings. Now, carbs are sugar, vegetables are carbs. Repeat after me, vegetables are carbs, right?
Those are carbs. Those are carbs.
Are carbs good? Yes. I also do intermittent fasting. So I do teach people how to do intermittent fasting. You know what? Intermittent fasting is almost cheating because you only do 2 meals.
Yeah.
You do 2 main meals. Your lunch is your biggest meal. Your dinner is a smaller meal. And then I'll have 1 or 2 snacks in between, depending on my hunger zone. One of those snacks is always a protein-rich meal replacement shake. So I get all of my nutrients. So my cells are happy. When your cells are happy, your self is happy because you don't have cravings. You don't have the up and down swings. You don't feel tired. You have this energy. At 57, I don't go into crashes. I'd like to just share with you guys the bands if you guys want to see the bands.
Yeah, please.
But I have women that are 78 years old as well as pregnant women using these bands. And so I know that anybody out there can use it. So they're very, very amazingly created because they're comfortable in your hands. If you have arthritis or wrist problems or finger problems, they don't hurt. You don't even have to squeeze them. They kind of lock into place. We use them by putting our hands in different positions, and each position uses a different muscle on your arm. So we do biceps, triceps, shoulders. We do back and chest. I do some body weight in it. We use glides. For my women that have larger chests or weaker abdominals, I have them, if you are watching in here in that background, you see that little pink dome. It's called a BOSU, and it helps me to help women to leverage to get easier retraction and contractions in their abdominal cavities or in their glutes. The third band is called the Beyond Band because it torques 18 to 45 pounds, depending on which body part we're using. Obviously, your legs are stronger usually than your arms. And so I can help women to sculpt strong, thick muscles, not just burn fat, because we all want to fill in, especially those of us in our 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. We get a little crepey in our abdominal area. If you've had babies, you know what I'm talking about. That area under your arm that waves after you're done waving at somebody. It's like, hello, friend, and your arm goes, woo, woo. You know what I'm talking about? Listen, we all get it. That cellulite in the back of our legs. You know, there's ways to help with this. And so I teach about lymphatic massage. I go beyond just the fitness, but the core of the work of this whole work is about 17 minutes And I have everybody just do these different activities. We do home renovation and cleanups. We do detoxification of our mindset. Everything is just in 17 minutes. If you have to spend more time, then that's homework, right? That's something that you're now becoming aware of. So we take this little sticky note. Every day they get a message, whether it's a card that's pulled, a book message that's read. I love the Daily Stoics, Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. So every day they get a message, and then they either receive, release, or become aware of something that they want to spend more time on. So such as when I gained those 25 pounds, right? So I wrote down, I literally wrote down, and I didn't know it. There was like a preface for where I'm heading now, but I wrote down what I was doing that was causing this weight. So, pepperoni pizza at 1:30, okay, that was causing the weight. The Oreo cookies, the M&Ms, the snacks that I was doing while I was studying. And I realized I wasn't really hungry. I was nervous. And so as a result of going deeper into all that, I created a program called Food Freedom, which is definitely about food, but it's more about our freedom, our relationship with how we're nourishing and feeding ourselves, not just about what we're putting in our mouths. It's that voice that we hear. It's those tools and tactics that we have. It's what got us to where we are, and forgiving ourselves for where we are, what we've done and what we've said, so that we're not bashing ourselves. Ladies, you have to love yourself first and foremost. You need to look in the mirror and say, I love you. You can say, I'm sorry I did this. It's okay. You can say, I'm sorry. There's a whole forgiveness called Ho'oponopono that is a series of things that I go into in my program that teach you forgiveness of yourself. Because when you're ready to rock and roll and take it to that next level, I'm here to support you, and it only takes 17 minutes.
That is incredible. And can you start at any age?
Yeah. So I really, you know what, ladies, who's ever listening, the majority of the members, I have to say, are in their 50s and 60s. I have quite a few in their 70s, and we have a couple of young whippersnappers with bumps in their bellies who are pregnant. And so, there is definitely a wide range, but the majority of the women, I would say, are in their mid 50s to mid 60s.
Yeah, that's encouraging. It is. And it's also an age when we start to start thinking about ourselves. We might have been nurturing others, and it's a great time. I love your philosophy. It's practical, it's compassionate, it's smart, it's based in science. I also was a collegiate javelin thrower, and I remember those trail workouts that I used to love, but it's just not practical. And I love 17 minutes seems so achievable. I'm very encouraged. We're going to totally hold each other to this.
I have never met another woman javelin thrower.
Yeah. And I have 4 kids, and my youngest is a javelin thrower as well.
Oh, that is super awesome. That's super cool. You talk about the transitions and transformations. My youngest, I have 3 girls, 18, 20, and 24. My youngest just graduated from high school, and she's going to be going to the University of Florida. And, empty nester, so single mom. Now, I went through like a little doldrum for the last 48 hours. I'm glad we're talking now and not before, because at that point I was like, I kind of went into a little cocoon. I needed to kind of like nurse myself and kind of feel everything I was feeling. Anybody who's gone through any type of transition and know that if you're going through it now, the bright light is seriously when you tell yourself now. I allowed myself to sit there for those 2 days, but I don't usually go that long. And when I was done, like going through my story, I hit my now button. So having a now button, having a way to get away from the negative thoughts is a very important tool that you should put into your toolbox, because we all are programmed to have that shadow effect, that negative conversation. But when that shows up, what do? You have to ask it, is it true? Is it true? Some of the things that were showing up were very true. And then some of the things I needed to reckon with and have a conversation with her, like, as a mom, as a human, like, I wish I would have done this. I'm not one to sit and regret. And she's like, Mom, you're such a great mom. You did such a great job. Like, look at who I am. I can't wait to go. I'm excited. And, at that point you say, wow, I guess I did a good job. So, we all can go into this place of regret, resentment, shame, pain, blame, right? But when you stop and you really analyze, and I love to ask myself this, is it going to matter in 5 years, right? I always go, is it going to matter in 5 years? So when I look back and I was going through all those things, I look at this person who is now very capable, very independent, excited to go, not because she wants to get away from me per se, because she's ready for her part of her journey. Her cocoon is gone over there now. And there's nothing more exciting as that. And then I get to look at my life and my journey. It's like, oh, I get to go on now too. Right. And so the excitement builds back in and you get to play out. So anybody who's going through hard times, whether it's kids are leaving, you're getting divorced, maybe somebody got really sick through COVID and you're just sitting in dismay or, regret that you didn't get to do something that you think you could have done, or maybe you lost somebody to cancer or something like that. Know that the decisions that you made were perfect at that moment. We always are making those perfect decisions, not to live in resentment, regret, or shame, or blame. But if you think that you could do something or want to do something differently, if that presents itself, then next time. A lot of times people ask, what's your biggest failure? And I was thinking about, what my biggest failure would be. And gosh, I've got a lot, but I guess I don't really look at anything as a failure because it's always catapulted me to something else. But if there's one thing that I wish I had done 10 years ago, would have been to invest in myself with coaching so that I could have maybe shortened the time of where I am now. And I would be able to have made more impact on more women by this point. And I'm not saying I'm living in the back hood of all that, but I was scared. I wasn't feeling secure about myself. And if you're feeling that is exactly, I know it sounds completely antithesis of where you think, but if you're feeling like there's something for you to do, something for you to achieve, you should be doing something different, but you're scared, that's when you step up, because there's nothing comforting about living in that space. So I want you to ask yourself before you do anything, is this going to help me attain my goal? Stay focused on your goal. Don't get dissuaded by an emotional discourse, because we all get it. You're not the only one. I get them all the time. I just shared one with you. But as long as you have a tool to come back. Well, Mel Robbins has the 5-second rule, right? She says you get to choose in 5 seconds. If you're thinking about something, it's really not what you want to do, you get 5 seconds to change your thought. Mm-hmm. Right? And Gabby Bernstein says, choose again. Mm-hmm. And I say, reset. Reset yourself, set yourself up for success. Get the bad demons out of your cupboards, out of your freezer, give them to somebody you don't like, a food pantry, throw them out. But don't go down those aisles again. Try not to go down those aisles for one whole week, and give yourself a big accolade every time you do it.
You are the perfect guest because you're so in alignment with what we seek to do here, which is to help folks dismantle that self-doubt that keeps them from achieving what they're passionate about. And actually, if you pursue a passion and you have a sense of purpose, it's what the world needs now. And I think we first were attracted to working together with this notion, that slogan of women hold up half the sky. And clearly the world needs us. And what the work you're doing is absolutely spot on, helping the world.
Thank you. I really do obviously love what I do. I love the women that are in it. It wouldn't be the tribe, the power warrior tribe, if it wasn't for the amount of women and the engagement that they give each other, the support that they give each other. I just get to, kind of scurry it at this point. It runs itself. The pages have over 1,000 messages every single solitary month with women supporting each other and giving ideas and recipes. And, you're having a bad day, somebody's there to pick you up. You're having a great day. There's people there to celebrate with you. And that's what it's about. And I'd like to give your listeners a couple of little gifts. One, well, in your show notes, you can give them a code that will give them access to a free week workout. Yeah, I would like to give everybody who listens in a completely free week just to come in, see the tribe, check out the 17. You don't have to have these bands to do the workout.
Yeah, Becca, you've already shared a tremendous amount of wisdom, how-to tips. But if we were just to take a moment, this is the part of the show we like to just say, hey, what's the thing? What is that golden nugget you could offer to those who are listening that made a difference for you in your journey? If you could boil it down to that one thing and speak to that for our audience, what would it be?
Truly, the biggest nugget that has changed my life is one that I was speaking about, and it's really self-forgiveness. It's, for me, there was somebody who I needed something for, and she just didn't show up for a long time, right? And so there was a lot of pain regarding that. And then I finally said, she did the best she could. I need to free herself, and I need to also stop being that little girl, right? I need to tell that little girl she's loved, and had nothing to do with doing or not doing. And so it's the same thing for yourselves. If there's something or somebody that is causing you shame, blame, pain, resentment, it's usually at the end of the day, it's you yourself that is causing where you are now. Because if that incident is still not happening, then you're living in the past. So moving yourself from the past, owning it as the past. One of the things that Tony Robbins always said, and it's this: ask yourself a good question, you're going to get a good answer. If you ask, why did something happen? Or, I can't believe this happened. You're always going to be sitting in a victim mentality. If you ask yourself, how can I grow and be better as a result of this? Then you're going to come out as a valor, and you're going to grow, glow, and be able to prosper. And I don't know about you. I don't want to feel like a victim and under a hood all the time. I'd rather be on the other side with that shining star.
Yes.
Here.
Yes. And Becca, what's next for you?
Oh, there's a couple of things that are next. I can't say. We are growing. So the powHerbands tribe is growing. It's POWHER for her, bands.com. And there's a lot of things going as a result of it. I have massive dreams for it to grow. Tens of thousands of women I see coming in, supporting each other. I love to speak and collaborate with women's groups. So anybody who's out there who is looking for a keynote speaker, a fitness coach, somebody at the corporate level with corporate wellness, well-being, because of my advertising, I set up an entire system from A to Z, including the websites. So wherever it is that is out there, I'm always growing and glowing. But as far as the bands go, there's some really cool things happening on it. I just can't say yet.
Oh, we can't wait. And we should let people know they can find you on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, like you had said, and I'll double it. powHerbands, so POWHERBANDS, powHerbands.com, or BECCATEBON.com. And we'll have all that information available. But
they can follow me on Instagram, YouTube, on Becca Tebon Fit. So that's been the handle that has been used.
I think we have to say goodbye, but it is not without gratitude and deep thanks to you for being in our company and having this rich conversation, from everything from our self-forgiveness to how we move our bodies and all the tips and tricks to just feel a little bit better, because we have our sacred selves to take care of. Mm-hmm. And that is a big calling. So let's do that, right? Yes. And of course, we could not do what we do. We have a tribe here at A2YO that we do not function without friends behind the scenes. So a thank you to Kathy Carswell and Susan Nagel, our producers, for helping us make this show possible.
Absolutely. And so I think it's left for me to say, go forth, be brave, live well, and do good, because it's Act 2. You're on!
Act 2 You're On was brought to you by Act 2 Share Our Stage.
You can find us at a2yo.com and also on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Please listen and subscribe wherever you find your podcast. You can support us using Patreon. Thanks for listening.